Hey, oh, we are live. All right, let's get this party started.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zoom in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks. We'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We've got your back, no wreck. We've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in the fun, engaging way.
Hi. Sorry about that. We had some live streaming things, and then I had spent like a half an hour before I actually figured out how to download our song, and then I set it all up, and then I got frazzled because of the live streaming, and I pressed the button and nothing worked. And our meters aren't working either, but that's okay because it's Friday. Woohoo! It's Good Friday. So to anyone who's celebrating, I'm not sure, do you say Happy Good Friday? Is that an appropriate greeting? So to anyone who, no, yes, no, I saw one head shake yes and one head shake no. May it be a meaningful Good Friday. How's that?
Happy Easter.
And
happy Easter.
Be a meaningful Good Friday and a happy Easter and a happy Passover and a happy whatever you are celebrating, even if it's just Friday. Let's say hello. Hello, Mike.
Sir David, how are we?
Sir Mike. I had a question which I'm going to ask you later because I know how to answer it. Hello,
Hi, David.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good, good. I'm so happy to see you here again.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Good. Hey, Tamara.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Evening, morning. Is it afternoon or morning? Oh,
It's
almost
it's like at noon, so it's good.
Yeah.
I almost didn't come because I only have an hour, but then I was like, but the Zoom Test Kitchen theme song.
The Zoom Test Kitchen theme song, yeah. So by the way, I use Downy. For those of you who don't know, Downy is a great Mac app, which really lets you capture any audio. I didn't think of it till today. I don't know why. Lets you capture any audio basically from any web page. And so I just popped in the URL of the song because you can't download it unless you own it. And Downy was able to grab it, which was fantastic.
I want to own it.
I want to shorten it.
Oh no. Oh no. Every verse is good.
Verse, yeah. Come on. This is Live. You gotta be Live. Hasmak, how are you, sir?
I'm well. The cook is watching MasterChef, so excuse us.
The cook is watching MasterChef, and you're actually in the kitchen. So there you go. That's fantastic. Reverend Mobley, hello, sir.
Greetings, sir. Greeting, Zoom Test Kitchen. Hello, everyone.
So for those of you who haven't seen, Tony is on a little bit of an AI video thing now. And I asked him a couple weeks back, so what tool are they using to make these? And he pointed me to the tool, and I kind of went, and then I walked away. Well, this morning, Tony, I went back, and I took one of my a cartoon of me, and I finally figured out which aspect of that tool they're using. It's not the image to video that I thought. It's the human generator or something that they call it. And I put a little script in, and I got myself a little Tony Mobley AI video, except of me. So thank you. I was inspired, and
Are you going to share it with us?
No,
And what's that tool?
say again?
What is that tool? Sorry. What is that tool?
I have it here. It is, hold on. It's called WAN-IA. Let me pull that up for you. AI.org. WAN-AI.org. So this is the website, and let's see if I went into, what did I go into? Imagine a create it, maybe, is that what? Yeah. And then what I did is I went to human like, and you can see that I put a picture of myself in there, and I just recorded. You can do it in 10 seconds. This is a free account, so you can do it with 10-second, up to 10-second clips. And then I just did a quick little recording and popped it in there, and then it created the video. It was really cool. I imagine if you upgrade, you get much longer. Projects are free. How much? It doesn't tell you. Oh, it's done by credits. That's how. So in any case, thank you for that. That was fun. Who else am I seeing here? Oh my goodness, Ray, how are you?
I'm quite well, thank you. And this is not an avatar. I often participate in the Ivy exhibits around the world as the remote person, so people in the exhibits can talk to somebody live on Ivy. And it's amazing the number. Yeah, it's an avatar.
Oh, really?
It takes. I said, all right, hold up 3 fingers, or do something. And so stop picking your nose or something. I'll tell them. So it's age related. Anything under 30, I'm an avatar.
Oh, that's hysterical. Well, you are not an avatar. You're about as real as it gets right now, Mr. Ray.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Victor, how are you?
I am just as good as I was last night, which is fantastic. And last night's show was so nice, David. Thank you for that.
It was. And for anyone who's interested, this morning I looked ahead to next week, and I saw that next Thursday is on the Jewish calendar, Holocaust Remembrance Day. For whatever reason, I immediately started thinking about memory and technology and memory, and how technology has either impacted for good or to the detriment of memory. And so that's going to be our topic for next week. And I used ChatGPT o3. Holy moly, this model, oh my Lord, to put together show notes for it, it's just unbelievable. Sorry, Lois, go ahead.
So hopefully we won't just talk about AI and current things, but we'll talk about how technology can help you keep the memories you want to keep.
Oh, absolutely.
So that it isn't just the brain memory, it's the stuff that we store and the stuff we look at. And the genealogists go back and get a book that's 100 years old, and what's going to happen 100 years from now?
That's right. Absolutely. And we're going to look at both sides of that, because at the same time that technology is helping us remember things, do any of you, well, I mean, Lois, you probably do, but do any of us actually know our phone numbers or our children's phone numbers, right? We don't use that information anymore. So there's been a brain rot also because of technology. In any case, that's for next Thursday. If any of you want to join us, you're going to join us for that. But right now joining us is John Drinkwater. Hi, John.
Good evening from the UK, where it is again raining.
Again. I'm so sorry to hear that, John. I'm really glad that you're in the warm, dry, safe cocoon of your studio.
I am indeed.
Good. Beautiful. Okay. Couple quick updates for everyone. Just about sort of Zoom stuff in general, and then we can dive into whatever we want. The first is that the Zoom live streaming application that we use every week is not working. It's not authenticating the app through Zoom, even though it is Zoom's own app. So I just sent that bug report over, and Andy's letting the team know. The second thing is that I was able to get on the closed beta for the new graphics toolkit, and logged in this morning and immediately found a bug which doesn't allow me to share any graphics with you all in this meeting. Not because it doesn't work, but because the way in my workflow, there's a bug there. So I will hopefully by next week be able to bring in some chats and things like that. We'll be able to see it in real time. And the third update I want to share is that, boy, Zoom had a little bit of an outage this past week, didn't it? It was about, what was it, 2 hours? Oh, John, did you not experience this? The entire USA, I think, was Zoom.us was down.
I think I will. I think I'll take the fifth, because I made a prediction to somebody else, and then that prediction turned out to be almost the truth. So I think I'll keep quiet.
Well, apparently it was a problem with the domain registry. Don't even get me started that Zoom uses GoDaddy. Did I understand that correctly?
That was my thought as well.
Everybody does it. GoDaddy's buying up all of the
GoDaddy is
resources.
awful.
Yes.
Oh my! I would never suggest that anyone use GoDaddy. Not because technically they're not good, but because I can't get the ads that they used to run out of my head. They were so misogynistic and sexist and terrible.
There isn't much choice now, David. Most of the internet service companies are all being bought up by big organizations, umbrella organizations. So a lot of the hosting companies that you think are independent are all owned by the same people now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I'm a Hover guy, hover.com. Yeah, that's where Ray is also. In any case, there was a huge outage. And it was interesting that after it was resolved, Zoom was very quick to say, wasn't us. Wasn't our fault. They were really clear to say this was I don't know, Mike, what, this wasn't actually my question for you, but I mean,
okay.
This was like a domain, like someone put in, like didn't pay the bill, and then the Zoom.us didn't point to the right place or something. Is that what happened?
That's what I said to Mike. And
Yeah.
I said, I bet they didn't renew it, Mike. They didn't renew the domain name. That's what I said. And he went off down a rabbit hole to find the answer.
Yeah, I did go down the rabbit hole and use my connections that have been in the industry with me for over 30 years on the internet. So I won't get into the technical weeds of what happened, but I will be at a very high level.
Real quick, Mike, before you jump
Yes.
to that, so just to clarify,
Sure.
the statement that Zoom put out actually does mention GoDaddy.
Yes.
Server blocked by GoDaddy registry. And this block was the result of a communication error between Zoom's domain registrar, Mark Monitor, and GoDaddy registry, which resulted in GoDaddy registry mistakenly shutting down Zoom.us domain. Zoom, Mark Monitor, and GoDaddy worked quickly to identify and remove the block, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I'll stop there, but I just want to, because that was the official statement. So
At least it wasn't Cloudflare this time.
right. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Right. And again, if anybody was trying to get into their meetings at that time, as John and I were testing live during it, you would have saw a Cloudflare error that came up from Zoom because they also use Cloudflare.
Flare?
Cloudflare? Are you not familiar? I will go into that a little bit. So Cloudflare at a high level is a content delivery network on the internet. They are competitors to the current system that Zoom uses, which it seems to be AWS, which is our friends at Amazon. So Cloudflare would be a competitor to Amazon. And again, many from the office hours community and many from the Zoom Test Kitchen community that will have vMix in the cloud as an example when Jonas does stuff like that. Again, a lot of that infrastructure is based off of Amazon with their AWS product. So what ended up happening at a very high level is, and again, Zoom is, that is very marketing nice what they gave us as an official answer. But basically what ended up happening is that they have paid Dark Monitor, a company that is
Mark
secured.
M-A-R-K.
Say again, sorry?
M-A-R-K, Mark Monitor.
Mark Monitor, thank you. So Mark Monitor is the company that they have paid to make sure that their domains are kept secure. And they are a third-party company that use GoDaddy as their registrar of choice. Now, what has happened there is that the Mark Monitor, I said that right, David? Mark Monitor, that's the company?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mark Monitor, I'm just gonna write that down to make sure because I always want to call it Dark Matter and Mark Monitor. Yeah, Mark Monitor. Yeah, it's an interesting name, and I haven't heard of them until this actual outage came along. So Mark Monitor, what they actually do
Just for
is
what
they will.
sorry, for what it's worth, it looks to me like Zoom's domain registrar is Mark Monitor, but the US, the .us, which is the contract for that is given by the US government, not by Zoom. That the US government gave that to GoDaddy. So that's why it was only .us that was down.
Yes and no. Again, domain specific. So the .coms, the .net, .org, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to get into the weeds of who owns which extension because we'll be here the whole show just talking about that. But when it comes to the .us extension, that has been given out to the registrars of choice that are the original owners of the .us country code. And again, that is the government, but I won't get into the weeds of that. But the Zoom.us domain, again, was being monitored by my Mark Monitor. And their monitoring system, there was some sort of update as Ray noted in Discord. So if anybody did check out our Discord, I went into this in a lot more detail there, and so did Ray. And that gave you a lot more of the detailed information. But again, I'm going to keep everything at a high level for us here on YouTube and within the Zoom meeting. So Mark Monitor was responsible for, and Zoom was paying Mark Monitor to make sure that Zoom.us never disappears. So for whatever reason, at that specific time, 2 o'clock-ish in the afternoon, there was some sort of modification that was done. We know this for a fact based on Ray, actually, that screenshot that Ray was able to catch and actually put into Discord. So that is the reference that also David just read to you, that they know that the outage started at X time, which was 2 o'clock ish, give or take. I don't have the official numbers in front of me. And basically what ended up happening there was that GoDaddy noticed that there was a modification. They reached out to Mark Monitor, and Mark Monitor did not reply to them quick enough when there was an issue that GoDaddy noticed. And what they ended up doing was sinkholing, and that is a term I can get into a little bit, sinkholing the domain because of no response from Mark Monitor. Sorry, I keep going to the dark one. Mark Monitor.
It wasn't Zoom's fault.
It indirectly wasn't Zoom's fault, but
Going with that.
what we do notice now that the changes that have happened to the Zoom.us is now the registrar information has been updated, and Mark Monitor is no longer monitoring it because they are no longer the technical contacts of that domain name. We do know this. Now, were they before that? They might have been the technical contact, not the billing or the administrative contact. Again, if everybody knows anything about domain names, you can actually have 3 official contacts when it comes to a domain name: a billing, an administrative, and a technical contact. In this case, Mark Monitor should have only been the technical contact, which then GoDaddy would have noticed that there was some sort of modification done technically, and they were reaching the technical contact. Now, if Mark Monitor was officially all 3, then, of course, as far as GoDaddy was concerned, Mark Monitor actually owns the Zoom.us domain name. So in this case, basically, it was not GoDaddy's fault, even though everybody in this room showed their dislove for GoDaddy and them being more expensive. But they're allowed to be more expensive because they actually have access to the majority of domain names available on the internet right now currently. So
I don't really care whose fault it was. I was just kind of kidding. But I mean, the important thing is that at least in the US, it was just dark. Like, and you couldn't even get a support page. That was, I think, for me, the most sort of.
Well, the official answer is that the internet went dark, David. It was not US, it was not Canada, it was the world went dark because the internet did not know where Zoom.us domain names existed any longer, period.
Yeah. Tamara, go
Full
ahead.
stop.
Yep.
Go ahead, Tamara.
So, what was interesting to me was when it came back up, the fix for it, if you couldn't log on, was so super scary that I don't know how a layperson would have been able to kind of, like, you want me to go inside the part that I don't normally go inside?
A clear cache. This
And
was
like Zoom came out and said it wasn't us. Look, everything's safe, but they didn't say we thank you for your patience during this inconvenience. You don't even have to say you're sorry. You can do a non-sorry kind of acknowledgement that it might have disrupted your day and your work, and that you still are a trustworthy thing. But the fix, I mean, can you explain that a little bit, Mike? Like,
sure.
What does that mean? Because I guarantee you this weekend I have an event of people who do not understand their computers, and they are going to email me and say, I can't get onto Zoom, and I do not understand that explanation.
Sure. Basically, what they were telling everyone to do, and David, you have that information if you want to pull that up. It's actually in the status page.
Yeah.
And that is a specific command should you A, not rebooted your computer in a while, B, if you actually still have the old representation of their Zoom.us domain name IP address stored locally on your computer. There was the commands, David?
Yeah,
on
I'm
there?
for it. I'm not. Oh, here we go. Here it is.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so there's the So again, for Windows, you would have to open up, as it says, to open up an actual command prompt, and we're basically you're what they call flush DNS, which is basically you're flushing any DNS records that your computer has currently stored to that point, and you're dumping it so that then it doesn't basically
Like,
yes.
wow, that's not easy to like. That's a huge inconvenience to average Joe, right? Like that's a
Correct.
huge step in your
Right.
Because like
What
I had a
they-
few people today. I sent out links that were already made, and when they were trying to log on, they kept getting like an error, but it wasn't. But then they would try again, and they would get in. So I was
Right.
like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to tell people to do this very difficult thing? And how comfortable am I giving them that information?
The easiest suggestion, Tamara, would be to tell them just to reboot their
Okay.
PC or Mac.
Yep.
Because what ends up happening is that cache should dump itself
Right.
with the reboot. Okay. And what again, it's basically what ends up happening is your browser will look for, if your computer has ever asked for zoom.us domain names before, it looks locally first before it asks on the internet, right? And that's what the problem was as soon as the fix happened for them, is that everybody was looking locally, and of course it was still sending them to the wrong IP address.
I'm totally thrilled saying try rebooting your computer and seeing if it resolves itself. And I kind of think it should have said that in the press release, because that other fix, if people are starting to hunt around and do stuff, like they could actually, one, they're going to get lost, but two, they could do something. You know,
There's a
you don't want
long,
me hunting in that part.
there's a longer explanation of not only of this, but also what the other companies did on this that I just posted in both the chat and on YouTube for folks. Let me just grab Lois, if that's okay, Mike. Let me grab Lois and go ahead.
So I guess my understanding is that the fix that they listed, you only need to use if your Zoom connection doesn't work. And your Zoom connection will only fail if you tried to get onto Zoom at the time that the problem was in effect. Because if you were before that, no problem. And then when you get back on Zoom, no problem. So it's only those people who tried to get on during the break, I'll call it. I had no problem. I mean, I think most of the people are simply going to come right in, and they're not going to know they have a problem because they don't.
You know what, Lois?
Yeah.
I had not seen that. I had not read that. You're absolutely right. And it's a little fascinating, actually. So end users who had already joined Zoom meetings or Zoom phone calls were not impacted. Any start, join, or scheduled meeting actions were unable to be completed successfully since the request required a DNS lookup, which could not be completed. So it sounds like what you just said is right, that if you tried to get on and it searched for the DNS, it couldn't, or it searched for whatever it's supposed to be. It couldn't find it, and then that became a part of your computer's memory.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It became a temporary, you can think of it this way, David. It became a temporary name in a little cache, aka little baby database, that until you actually reboot the computer, or do those commands,
Or try logging in again.
Yeah. Again, because as far as GoDaddy ended up going with the domain name, they went really, really far. And
So-
I mean, like they shouldn't have actually even needed to go as far as they did, but they did. So there was something definitely going on at that particular point for them to go as far as they did, for them to, what we call in the industry, sinkhole the domain.
I think that one thing that might help is that when I come into this place, I've been here before, so it's in my history of 10 Zoom meetings that I've been to. In my Zoom, when I open Zoom, I go to join, and then there's that little downward pointing arrow, and you click on that, and the last 10 meetings you were in show up. And that's how I get into all the meetings. I only got 10 meetings that I go to all the time.
Right.
So I think that anyway, I had no problem getting in. I didn't know there was a problem. When did this happen?
Was it Thursday? Wednesday?
Yeah. John and I were live. It was actually Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday afternoon, yeah, on April 16th. And by the way, I well, let's get Tony first, actually. Tony, and then I'll jump in.
Well, you answered my question. Lois was able to answer my question basically.
Oh, beautiful.
I was going to say that was the new update that came out, was that going to fix the issue? But
I don't. The update I don't think had anything to do with the issue.
Yeah. Again, yeah. So again, it was strictly. You've got to think of it this way, Tony, and this is maybe the easiest way for everybody, even on YouTube, to understand this at a very, very, very generic level. If you couldn't get to google.com anymore, you would just get, site is not found. Basically, that is what ended up happening to Zoom, is that anything that was, and you got to remember this, so this not only affected Zoom, www.zoom.us. This affected the following: marketplace.zoom.us, events.zoom.us, the actual any US number that you have in your meetings. So if it's USO2.zoom.us, USO6.zoom.us, all the information before the .zoom.us also all disappeared. So anything that was already scheduled during that time previously for meetings during that time period as well, that because in the links that Zoom gives us in our meetings, which makes perfect sense because we don't want people to remember what an IP address is of their servers all the time, and they want to be able to dynamically change them at any time. That's why we'll see in our meeting link, as David knows for ours I think is what, USO6, David? .zoom.us? I think it's something like that.
This is part of that memory thing, is that I have no clue.
If you go to our zoomtestkitchen.com and you hover over top, you'll be able to see what our URL is quickly.
Oh no, you know why? It's not any of those, because I use a
right. So again, in that case too, so any of the vanity domain names that are vanity.us, zoom.us also died. So now you've got, if Ivy had one, ivy.zoom.us died, anything.us, zoom.us died for those hours. So all the major corporations that also have the vanity and all of a sudden had meetings during those times, all of those died as well, because again, anything before zoom.us was off the internet for those hours.
The only other thing I was going to share is that we're all Zoom fanboys and fangirls here, as we should be. And we sometimes will talk smack about some of the other services. I will say that you should always have another service in your back pocket, so that if Zoom has a problem and you have an important meeting or an important class, you have somewhere else you can go, so just be somewhat familiar. I should bone up on this also. Be somewhat familiar with either Google Meet or Teams or, one of those other tools, so that if you have something mission critical, you can still get it done. Go ahead, Lois.
So just bumping onto what you just said, a lot of people use Zoom to send their invitations. And so your question would then be, how am I going to contact all these people that are going to try and get into a meeting which isn't able to happen? So, that's another thing. But what I wanted to mention is, for those people at home who are a little bit confused, remember this: the word dot, the suffix, that much is your domain name. birdingwithlois.org. No, .global, that's right. But if it's got something in front of it, toratechguy.zoom.us, zoom.us is the domain. And anything that affects the domain affects everything that ends in that. Everything in front of it is a subdomain or the name of a machine or something like that. So pretty simple. Domain is word.suffix.
Yeah, and I'm with Tamara in the chat. I would pretty much just cancel my meeting too. But I'm just saying, if you have something mission critical, it can't hurt to have a backup.
And even we couldn't actually even go to the status page either, David, because it's status.zoom.us.
And Lois, to your point, Lois, if you do registrations through Zoom, excuse me, you can't even access the register. In this case, you couldn't even access the registrations to send them an email to say, hey, unless you had downloaded that. This is, again, this is such a good test case for download your information, before the day. Make sure you have a physical, even if it's not complete, have a physical copy, download it somewhere. Make sure you have a backup tool. All those different pieces are really fundamental if you're doing something mission critical. Mr. Idelson is here. Hi, John.
Howdy. Well, I just wanted to follow up on what you said in terms of how do you deal with when technology fails. The incident that impacted Zoom has happened across almost every platform. Cisco's had major failures. Microsoft has had major failures, and that tells them where the weaknesses are. But if something's mission critical, if you know you're going to have a baby sometime in the next month and you have two cars and one doesn't work very well, you figure, who am I going to call the neighbor if my car doesn't start? So I'm part of CERT, which is emergency CERT, Citizens Emergency Response Team, which is in California trying to prepare what would be natural disasters such as fires, earthquakes, and whatever. And they say, have a grab and go kit. You have plans for what you're going to do if there is a problem. We get so reliant on technology that we just assume it's always going to work. And we know through tornadoes, that was an act of whatever. And then when it happens, cell phone towers are driven in, people try to get back together. And this was an unfortunate technology failure that could have affected anybody. When the story comes out, I'm sure Zoom, which is very transparent, will be very clear what happened and mitigate how it won't happen again. And we'll be educating people how to deal with that sort of crisis. But I think, David, your point is, if it's mission critical, you should have alternative methods. And the Alex Lindsay office hour is what's your primary, what's your secondary, what's your emergency, and where do you go from there?
Absolutely. Yeah, Tony, go ahead.
No, my question is really just for Dr. Idelson. I just wanted to know about his lower third. How did he put that in?
Microphone.
Oh, you guys didn't hear me? I'm sorry.
John, microphone.
No. We heard you. We can't.
Wait. Is there a thing called mute? I don't know what it is. I was trying to lower my hand right now, which it should do somehow. Let me get rid of my raised hand. Currently on this machine, I'm using Canva for that.
Or are you bringing it in?
Yes.
No, not yes. How are you bringing that in to Zoom?
Selecting Canva as the camera.
What?
The Canva is taking the Ivy camera. I'm superimposing my lower third. And under the Zoom cameras, I'm selecting the camera source as the Canva, which has the Zoom camera in it and the graphic on top of it.
Canva?
I love that expression, David. You didn't know Canva could do that, did you?
NVA has a virtual camera feature?
Let me make sure I'm dyslexic. Let me make sure I tell you which application I'm using. The application that I'm using, where does it say the name of it? I'm dyslexic. Yeah, Camo, CAMO Studio Camo, Camo Studio Pro.
Okay. Oh, I thought I just lost my mind for a second there. Okay, thank you. Yes.
So the reason I had to hesitate explaining what it is, I use Canva Studio Pro for getting overlays. I use Mimo Live for getting overlays. I use what's the one, the Zoom one, XPS or whatever overlays.
SPX. Yes.
I use QCam Presenter for overlays, and I use ATEMs for overlays. So at any point on any particular workstation I have, I may have different ways I'm going to put the lower third up.
Understood.
Or as the case may be.
Understood.
I'm
Lois,
still trying to figure out how to lower my hand, but I'll figure that out.
I got you. Lois and John.
I'll let John go first because he's distracted me so much. I've lost my train of thought. I'll be back.
All right, John, go for it.
Terribly sorry. So I created this image in Canva and I uploaded it to Zoom. And look, here's a message telling you that I did it.
Yes, but
There are 2 video filters that you can install on your account.
yes.
And this is the one.
That I just thought he was talking about using
Yeah,
Canva.
I know. I was confused as well at the start.
But yes, you can do this natively in Zoom. You're absolutely
Yeah. And you don't need any other apps to do it. You just need to create an image. But
Is it
one little
more than 2.
no, you can only define 2 video filters. But what was weird was when I did this second one yesterday. You notice I've still got the Lord Zoom image in the top left corner.
Yeah.
So actually, I uploaded 2 images to that set, and it put them both in. And I didn't know it did that before because usually I've just deleted it and put a new one up. But this time I just clicked on it, uploaded a file, and it left the other one there as well.
It lets you do additive within that space, so it's
Okay, wait a second. Let's hold on. This is going to be under.
So you go to Zoom US.
Yeah, I'm here.
That was just a dig at the domain name situation. So you go to Zoom US. You then have to go into your account settings.
Yeah.
Because it's not for you, it's for your whole account.
Okay.
And then you want to go into the account management. Sorry, the account management. You go to account settings.
Yep.
And then from there you go to meeting. And if you click on the advanced, and then scroll down a little bit more.
Okay, so here it is. So
there's your backgrounds. Keep going. That's your backgrounds.
After that.
And that's your filters.
Yes, you can have 4 custom filters.
I can only have 2.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, but now you're saying, hold on a second, that you can.
That's it. Now click to add another one. Don't delete it. Just edit it. Yeah, edit. Click on it to add another. Try and go outside the image.
Filter for a desktop, you hold shift to change.
There's 2 versions of it as well now.
But
no, because your images cover the whole area. That's why you missed the chance.
Oh, look at this. No, add another image to this filter. Oh, how interesting. That's where it is. Okay.
And that must be quite recent because that's not been there before.
Down here, hold on, how do I get
What's it? So you can resize. You've got your image there. You can resize it, move it around.
But no, I just resized it so that you can see that down here now there's this button that says add another image to this filter.
Yep.
Oh, how interesting. Look at that. So now I can come in here. I can see, I don't even know if I have an image somewhere. I'll just take this. And
you can resize that one and move that one around as well.
And now so now let me make this one bigger again. Next.
When you got to that second next, did you notice that you've got the chance to define the same layout for a vertical version, which I assume will be on your phone?
I'll go back. Hold on a second. Previous. Right. So now you can look at this. Wow.
And what we're seeing here is, as an old broadcaster, vertical, makes me go, that's wrong. But now.
And then you can change, then you can put a custom thumbnail in to remind you as well. Right. So you can change the thumbnail of the image so that it'll make more sense for you.
Just do that. Okay. So now
if you close that and go into your normal Zoom account.
Close.
Into your Zoom settings on your Zoom app.
Oh, you know what? I'm in the wrong account.
Yeah. But that's where you go. So you go to your video filters in your Zoom.
Because this is not choose video filter because it's not no, it will work because I'm in the same it's all in the same account. There we go. That's cool. So you really have unlimited. I mean, you can only toggle on and off one at a time, but you could build a whole scene now. Wow, that's really interesting. Interesting. I didn't know that.
And
Great.
of course, it's valuable for smaller businesses and users because if there's only one or two of you, you can really customize that logo because no one else will need it. At the corporate level, of course, it won't be so useful
Right.
because you're trying to find a couple of logo setups that keep
But
a
if you
1,000 people
have-
happy is harder.
If you've got 2 or 3 or 4 people, you could create 4 of them and each of you just use the one that's appropriate for you. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is that John mentioned, and the other John, he had only 2 and you had 4. In our university account, we have a logo that's the university background that you could use or things put on it. But we have multiple schools and multiple departments. So then you could get systems to the point where California State University, Monterey Bay's communication and computer science program can have a logo that then has, an overall one, and then I could modify it within mine for my name or how to reach me and stuff. So they're really pushing down things that have been used more broadly down to the end user. And it lets people who have corporate accounts really control their look and feel more than they did when they get it. And we could actually lock at the university, we haven't done, we could lock that only theirs could be the background. And they did do that for a certain time when there was some inappropriate backgrounds appearing on meetings, but that was just children playing.
And you can disable the standard ones if you want to get rid of those as well. So if you want to take the other ones from being available, you can turn them off.
All right, we got Lois and that was a great find. Thank you, Lois and Hasbrook, and then there are a bunch of updates that we got this week. Half of them I can't find anywhere in the actual app. So, but let's go over to Lois and Hasbrook.
Okay, first I'm going to respond to what you just did and what John just said. And if you go and look in your video, the little caret above the video or next to the video sign, you get those options. You can go in there to filters. I have 5 different frames that I can choose from. And I think you can do what David just did and make a whole bunch of different things in one frame, but that's one frame. So then if I want it to look different, I would go and make a second frame that looked different than the first frame. So I don't know how many different people have. I have 5. I have a basic paid account. All right. So what I wanted to question is when the domain zoom.us was disabled or had its accident, it is my understanding that my domain lists a DNS, which is domain name server. That's the machine where the world goes to find me with my domain, and then another, so that there are a whole series of domains. So if one doesn't work, another might. And I think I'm hearing Mike say that the glitch happened at a higher level, so that couldn't get to any of those. But if you have a domain, it's good to have more than one of those domain name servers in case, the local business goes out and this one is okay. Right, Mike?
Lois, you are absolutely correct. So basically what ended up happening in this situation is that GoDaddy, the registrar, told and I'll get a little techie, and so that it makes sense to what Lois mentioned, the root servers, which are let's call them the king of all the servers on the internet. They are the ones that know where every domain is and who's responsible for all the domains in the world. GoDaddy actually told them that the zoom.us domain name no longer exists, full stop. Meaning that what Lois is talking about is that the primary, secondary, and ideally, if you really want, like Zoom has, they have 4. And all of those were told that they don't exist anymore.
So I understand that, and I'm talking to these folks who have a domain and are starting to freak out. Look at your domain registration. Make sure you've got the appropriate number of domain name servers. It'll be listed as DNS. If you don't know what that means, talk to the people who are the techies in charge of your domain and make sure that they're doing it right. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Thank you. Hasmuk.
Well, it's basically ICANN that manages name and numbering, and the entity in ICANN is called Iona, and Iona actually allocates the domains and appoints the registries that manages those domains. So if it's knocked off at that root section of Iona, even if you have multiple name servers, it's not gonna get there. It's just dead. So I'm not exactly sure that that's what happened. It probably happened at the registry level. So the registry was not, if the registry is managing .us, I'm not sure if registry is managing the .us. I'm not certain that Iona appointed GoDaddy as the registry operator for .us. But each geographical domain has a main registry operator. And GoDaddy is probably a registrar on behalf of the registry.
Yeah. I'll just clear up what Hasmuk said. Hasmuk is 100% right. There was a couple little things in there. And what ended up happening at that specific moment is that GoDaddy told Iona to get the domain name off their books 100%, meaning that the DNS servers, and you could not buy zoom.us. It wasn't at that level, but it was at the level of the domain name has been bought, but there's no domain name servers attached to it yet. That was the sinkholing technology.
And the good thing is that no one was able to jump in during that short time period that this problem existed. No one could jump in and buy Zoom.us and hold it hostage. And that's because there is latency built into the system, so that if you don't re-register your domain, it takes a little while before they free it up again. And that gives you a chance to go, oh my goodness, my domain's down. What happened? Oh, I forgot to pay the bill.
It's usually 30 days from the time you do not renew your domain. They normally give you 30 days and they send you ample warnings.
Yeah.
So make sure the information in there that you have in your domain is to you, not to some 20-year-old email address that you've never seen since.
All great points, Lois. All great points, 100%. And yes, so that was so just to wrap up what Hasmuk was talking about, yeah, it was actually at the in-between level. It was as if Zoom just bought the domain name, but they haven't actually told, in this case, GoDaddy, what domain name servers they should be using yet. So it was in the process. That is what we call in the industry, and I haven't done this in 30 years, but I used to do it when bills were not getting paid 30 years ago for our hosting company that I was working for. So yes, we used to do what we call sinkhole. And that was what ended up happening if people didn't pay their bills usually. But in this case, they were paid up for at least, I believe from what I saw from Ray, they easily would have been at least a week or so before their renewal date that they had to renew the Zoom.us. And again, of course, at that point, they would have had still 30 days, like Hasmuk said.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, I apologize for having to ask this again, but I'm in my settings in Zoom and I don't see where I can make these gestures or add in these lower thirds or these.
The filters that you use are in the Zoom settings there. To create a new one, I believe you have to go to your browser account, I believe.
The browser account. Okay.
You know,
Not the
at the
actual-
bottom of your Zoom things, if you're on the left side, you're at the top of the general. On the right side, you go all the way to the bottom. It says more or additional settings. And you click that, and then the browser window opens with your account in Zoom.us.
What I'm seeing right now is, like you said, general at the very top. And
Have you clicked on general?
yes.
Okay, and then on the right-hand side, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see something that says View More Settings with a little square with an arrow pointing elsewhere.
Okay, I see that. Okay.
Yeah, and when you
Thank
click that, you will get to your account on Zoom. You may have to sign in if you aren't already signed in.
Okay. Thank you.
The way, you can't see it really because it's too small, but they just, I got the graphics in, the Zoom graphics. So these are, again, it's too small, you can't see it, but these are real-time chat messages. I'm using the chat scroll feature that they talked about. I have no idea how to change the size of anything, but I will play with that. Actually, I'm not going to play with it now. I'm just going to leave it because I'll get too distracted by this. But it's fun. Oh, and John just gave us his card number. Are we supposed to go out and buy something with that, John? Thank you. Okay. Should we look at the at some of the stuff that's new that we got? So, all right. Well, John's excited about some. I don't know what you're excited about, John, because I still don't have the 5th button in my Zoom app to record, and use AI Companion for live meetings. I don't have that. I don't have the Stream Deck stuff.
David, you don't need it.
What?
You don't need it.
Well, I do.
You do what I do,
What's
which
that?
is you start a meeting, you leave the microphone on, and Zoom listens to your entire TV watching and gives you a summary at the end of the night. It's
Yes,
brilliant.
But here's what is interesting to me that I was really looking for: in meeting subgroup chat. So this is here on the. Oh, I see. Now I have to get rid of this little doohickey. Hold on a second. Let me turn off this. Okay. So this is meeting features. This was in, what are we in now? 6.4.5. So this came out. It was supposed to come out on Monday, I believe. It came out on Wednesday. It was delayed 2 days. So here we go. Participants can collaborate more effectively during meetings without interrupting the main session by using subgroup chats. This is huge. This feature allows participants to have side conversations such as presenters coordinating program flow without involving the entire meeting. In the past, you had to make everyone a co-host if you wanted to chat with. Actually, can you even do that? No, you can't even do that. Sorry. Any participant can create a subgroup chat within the meeting chat and manage members by adding or removing participants as needed. Subgroup chat history is archived and available after the meeting ends. Account owners and admins can manage this feature in the web portal account setting under the meeting tab, then in Meeting Basic. The by default allow participants to chat with option must be set to allow subjects to enable this feature. This feature will be added to feature release controls.
Which is why we can't do it, David, because you didn't set it up.
No, I tried to. Don't blame me. I have been in my settings every day. Like,
I'm saying that this meeting doesn't have it.
no,
I'm not saying you're a bad person.
no. What? Thank you. No,
David, this is your personal meeting again, isn't it?
Yeah.
This could be your personal meeting error again.
gotta be kidding me. No,
Well, it's a good answer until I hear a better one.
no, I'm not accepting that. Wait a second. If this is, so help me God, if this is one of these PMI things, no, it's not. Hold on. No, it's not. No, it's not. Fine. See? It's not. so I'm in, so it said in settings. So I went into settings, meeting, in meeting basic, and then there's chat here. The setting meeting chat won't apply to continuous meeting. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm missing. I don't have it here. Maybe it's not out yet. Maybe they haven't rolled it out yet. Allow participants. So it said, what did it say? By default, allow participants to chat with option must be set to allow sub chats. So this is there is no. Oh, by default, allow participants to chat with. Hey, I don't have that option yet. I really want it though. I don't really understand why. Well, I mean, this is going to be a huge. I'll check another account. It's also not in the admin settings. I checked there also. Let me switch over to the Zoom Test Kitchen, and we'll see if it's there. So settings, meeting, basic, and then yeah, we don't have it here either. And I've searched everywhere for it. Group. Auto answer group in chat. Auto accept far end. It can't. No, it's not. So I don't know what that. Maybe. I mean, maybe this feature will be added to feature release controls. Maybe that's something. I don't know. Can anyone help me understand this?
It sounds more like a corporate
What do you mean corporate?
option.
Sounds more like a what?
Sounds more like it's a corporate option. It might only be available at the corporate level. Because we don't have future release controls in our world, do we?
Yo, you think so? That would be such a shame. Maybe you're right. Okay. Oh, that would make me so sad. This is, to me, this is a really exciting release. Did anyone experience the expanded enhanced waiting room experience? I didn't. I haven't noticed that. I mean, I guess I could jump out and. Oh, Mike, you need co-host again. Let me see.
Because I just jumped in and I didn't see anything enhanced. I wasn't there very long, mind you, but
So I'm gonna jump back in on another computer just to see what it looks like. All right, let's see. Don't let me in, Mike.
got it. You
Yeah.
let me know. I'll let you do it.
No, it's weird. Hold on a second. Yeah, I don't see anything different at all.
The only thing I can think of is it because is it a personal meeting? The personal, it's a PIM, whatever.
You all blame it on me and my personal meetings, my PMIs. No, it's not the fault of the PMI. My meters aren't even working. Everything's breaking.
Because we're in the test kitchen.
The test kitchen. All right, let's try and find some other things. Merging. Oh, here. Sorry, I'm not sharing. Merging floating video reaction setting with meeting reactions. So to simplify the meeting reaction settings, the allow participants use floating video reactions subsetting in the web portal has been removed. What? If mirrors will have access to the floating video, oh, that's just a setting move. They just changed something in settings. Yeah. Okay. Where's the floating? I don't see that. There's a floating. How do you get that? Let me use floating video reactions. Meeting reactions. Let me look up in the settings. reactions. Meeting reactions. Should we send our feedback? Breakout room meeting? No. Here we go. Already community without these words find the reactions menu in the toolbar. They selected. Okay. Where's the floating menu? I wonder where that is. You think that's maybe an admin level? Let's see. Account management, account settings. And what am I looking for? Reactions. Okay. Oh, that should just be, oh, that's a webinar. That doesn't matter. Okay. Users can enable animated reactions for these emojis. Yeah. Oh, I don't see anything here about that. Yet another thing we can't find. Okay. Yeah. Please help me.
I'm experiencing everything you are. I think, though, I did notice the waiting room, it's just a larger preview window. Isn't that what they're talking about? Which I did notice.
Oh, you know what?
That's right. That's all it is it not? Am I wrong?
I always turn that off. That's the, you can check yourself before you come in.
Yeah, you always got to check yourself before you go in, David. Come on. Yeah, I have it on. All the time.
Good catch. Right. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how I turn that back on so I can actually experience that. Video settings. Yeah, it's no, it's not there. Under general. Use will monitor OSHA me control. Stop my video. No. Shows your pro. Where the heck is? I'm not seeing where you turn that on or off. It's in the app. It's not in show media controls. Does anyone know where that is? Video. Always display person of the video. Are you gonna join? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Always show preview when joining. Okay. So now I'm going to jump out of this.
David, were you showing the Zoom interface? Because
No,
we're still seeing the support page.
Sorry, I'm on. Let me see if I can show you this other computer. I'm sorry. There it is. Okay.
Yep.
So now I'm going to join. And okay. Now hopefully.
I won't let you in.
But why am I not seeing? I just turned off. No. Always show preview when joining. All right, let's try that again. Okay. And do that, close that. Leave meeting. I'm going to join again. And oh, sorry. Let's see if it works. Why isn't it giving me the preview?
Probably once
Maybe
you get
because-
inside, then the preview opens.
You think it opens once I get in?
Yes, can you just check that?
Yeah, no.
No. Okay.
No, David, I did have that when I was coming in, and I've got that set up. You may have to just close the client after making that selection and restarting the client.
Right. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. All right. Well, we don't have to spend time doing it. It's also possible that because this is not a native client.
Oh, this is not the regular workplace client?
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
So it could be that also.
Yeah, it could be that as well. It could be that even though you have that in the settings, it might not be coded into that client.
Right, but look at that. It was unchecked when I came back in. It's just interesting. It's I wonder why that's not sticky like that. Let me do that. I'll actually quit and restart that and see if that helps. All right, in any case. Let's see if we get it now. No, it ain't working for me. All right. Oh well. Oh well, that might be a.
Yeah, David, I think it might be just that now what version is that client would be the question too.
Yeah.
Did it get updated too?
I mean, they're updating according to the API. It's on the latest API, but it may, or the latest SDK, I should say, I guess. But it may be. I don't know. Maybe that just isn't included in the SDK. That's interesting.
Again,
Let's
it's up
see
to
if-
the developer what they want to put in there, David. So
Yeah. Tony,
Tony's
go
got
ahead.
a question.
I was wondering if it was possible for you guys to help me switch out the logo. I had a logo there. I updated the logo. Then I deleted the old logo. And I haven't been able to put the new logo in. Like right now it's showing SPX in the corner there. And it should be the new logo.
That means that it's not licensed. It doesn't show as being licensed to you. That's the free that you get that logo, I believe, when you're on the free account.
David, did you want me to let you in?
I have the paid account. I have a paid account.
You may just have to log in or something, because if that's up there, that I think that means. So this is, by the way, while Tony's working on that. I'll show you all this. So this is. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. So this is what I have now, right? So this is in the native client. I've got this little guy here. I don't know if this is different because I never look at this, but click on the audio button to join computer audio. Is there something different about this?
There should be one more screen before you get into the actual waiting room. It should be an additional screen. I'll try to grab it and get it back for everybody.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and admit myself, but I'm in the waiting room right now.
Right, but it was before you actually connect to the waiting room.
No, this threw me in, but this is different. If you look at the other one, you didn't have this right here, right? Before, this is different because before you got a pop-up or something with your face. Now it's built into the waiting room.
Yeah. So I think before it was you check your preview and then you click OK, then you go into the waiting room.
Right.
So right now we are getting into the waiting room and then you still have a preview of yourself.
Right. Rohit, thank you and welcome. It's really good to have you here. Yeah, that's what's different. They've now baked this into the waiting room space. That's what this is.
Yeah. And in the preview, if you keep your video on and you're still checking and they accept you, you go inside with your video on. So that's another disadvantage or advantage, you can say.
You get to choose if your video is on and off when you're, say, I want to join a meeting. You can turn your video off at that time.
Right. If I turn it off there, you come in with no video.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to pop out and come back and look at this because I didn't see that when I came in. So I'll be back.
Okay. Wait, Lois, make sure that you have, this is the important piece of this. How do I get into settings? In general, is it general?
Video.
No, it's video, sorry. Under video, you have to make sure that, oh, you don't, look at that. I don't have this.
If I click that thing you're looking at right now, I would get a pop-up window before I attempted to join the meeting.
Correct.
So now you get it. So now everyone gets it, regardless of whether they want it or not. It's just baked into the waiting room experience, I guess.
I'll be right back.
Unless you're using a third-party tool like Ecamm, in which case you never have that. That's why that must be why.
Yeah, always have to remember, David, that when we see the release notes, that we're talking about the workplace client. We're not talking about any other, we're not talking about vMix's version, Mimo's, or Ecamm's versions. Because officially they will be behind unless you updated those today too.
Oh, here comes and Lois.
And it got me busy clicking on everybody's emit.
Well, you were a little bit too fast. I didn't get to see much in that waiting room because you were just so on it. But I can confirm that when I went to join the meeting and in that thing before I asked to join, I said, hide my video. It did. When I got in the waiting room, my video was hidden. And he was so quick. He got me in here. It was still hidden.
But Lois, wait a second. Sorry. So you had the pop-up before the waiting room?
No, I didn't get any. I don't do pop-ups. When you have the application on your computer and you got those little buttons and you click the one that says join, and then it says put in the name and all that other stuff. One of your options is turn off my video. And I did that, and it stayed off until I got in here and just now turned it on.
Asmav, I'm letting you test. Let me know.
Nah, so I know on my iPhone, if I join Zoom Test Kitchen on my iPhone, my video is always on. And I have to select to put the camera off before you actually let me in. If I'm a little slow, then you let me in with my video on. And sometimes that can be quite embarrassing. So
we have to teach Mike to count to 5 before he pushes any of those buttons.
yeah, he's a bit trigger happy, I know.
So let me just report. So just for clarity's sake, I'm on the latest Zoom app update. In my settings under video, I do not have the thing that says always show preview when joining. That is not checked. When I join this meeting, I get what I showed everyone before. I get this, what I believe is a new waiting room experience, at least new to me, with the video right here. So I can plump myself or whatever. If I turn that off, let's see, if I turn that off and I admit myself, my video is off. Let me get out of this.
You have confirmed exactly the same thing that I did.
Yeah, sorry. My video was off. I was just getting a little confused. I apologize.
So this option might be a bit of an issue if we just click the link and we run out and the admin accepts us inside, then our camera is on without our knowledge.
Hold on, say that one more time.
So what happens is if in the preview, if our video is on and we are accepted into the meeting, we join in with our video on.
As you would if there were no waiting room. If you have your video on and you come into a meeting without a waiting room, your video will be on because you said you wanted your video on.
No, the option which David right now did with the waiting room and the preview, like you had switched off your camera. So when they accepted you inside, your camera was off. So let's assume that you click the link and you are in the waiting room and your video is on. And you're
Then it
still
will be on
your
when I am admitted.
correct. So let's say so the previous version was you don't enter the waiting room. Your preview is first. So you do all your tests and then you enter the waiting room. So right now, two things are happening side by side. One is we are doing our video camera test while someone will, we don't know when he or she is going to accept us inside. So let's say if it's Mike and I'm still testing my video, putting my makeup on, and he puts me in 1 second. I'm still doing my makeup while my video is on and I'm inside the meeting.
Right. So what Rohit is saying, I think, is that when you've got a mic who's trigger happy and is letting everyone in quick, which is the same thing I do, people lose the opportunity to check themselves in that mirror.
And if there were no waiting room, they would be coming directly in.
Oh, of course, but
as they were. So are you? I'm going to go out and check and see. I think I still have that touch up thing. 543. Okay, thank you.
I promise. No trigger happy for Lois.
We're not letting her in.
You might want to look at Robert's question there for you, David, on the screen for you.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm actually I just figured out how to change the language, what do you call it?
While you're doing that, Mike, I owe you an apology because on the phone app, in the settings, I have to put the video off as an option so that when I join the meeting, in the waiting room, my camera is off.
So you had it already hard-coded on in the settings, is what you're saying?
I had hard-coded as video on, correct.
Right. All right, and I'm starting to count because I heard the bing bing from Lois.
When you have time, I also have a question on Zoom whenever we're done with Lewis.
We're done with Lois.
She's not here. That's why you're so brave.
May I report?
You may, and I gave you a Jeopardy minute.
So it is true that as soon as Mike pushes the button, I come in. It is also true that when I'm in the waiting room, there's a thing that says test your mic and whatever. And if you push that button, you'll get into your settings. If you look at the video settings, there's your face. You can do your makeup, whatever. But it's in the countdown. So before I came into this meeting, I did have an opportunity to touch up my makeup and check everything was working well by going into the settings in my little app. And there are the exact same settings as you get when you take your settings from here. And you go to the video and there's the thing and you can do your stuff. So it is one more step. I don't recall that having been there before, but then I don't think I have mine turned on to say every time I go to a meeting, give me a prep window. I believe that's a setting that's an individual setting. Hey, I see your mouth moving. Why don't you turn on your mic and talk to us?
I'm just talking to myself. I put it in the chat. I can't, I know mine is on. I just don't see where to like make sure that it's on for, well, I mean, the updates, but anyway, David, you shared a screen, I think, of where to find it, but I don't even know. I've been using the search bar up top to find it and I can't find the preview window when
Trying to find?
I'm sorry?
What are you trying to find?
And it's not called preview, it's just called video.
Yeah, like show your video before you enter a meeting.
What we discovered is that you shouldn't need to do that. you shouldn't need to turn that on or off.
Got it.
It's
But
now baked.
okay, so there's no option. It's like, so, because I
There's an
couldn't,
option.
yeah, so I can't find where the option is.
Right. So if you go in this meeting, click on the shield in the top. It's usually in the top right.
Yep.
Might be in the middle
Yep.
of this meeting.
Yep.
And then click on the gear, and
Yep.
then click on video. And if you scroll down, you should see always show. It's the third checkbox. Always display participant name, stop my video when joining, and always show preview when
Jeez
joining.
Louise. Yeah, it's right there. Thanks very much. Embarrassing. Sorry.
I'm curious what that does though when you do that. I wonder if that brings up that preview ahead of, you know.
I'm going to jump out and jump back in. I'm doing a lot of jumping today, aren't I?
Here we go. Dun, da, da.
So David, surprisingly, I got both. I got the preview before joining the waiting room, and I got a preview while I was joining the waiting room.
And that's because you had that box ticked in your settings?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. Reed, are you using a Mac?
Yes.
Okay, I can confirm that's also the way it works for me on Windows as well.
And here comes Lois again.
I'm just sending both the screenshots for.
Great, thank you.
And I think, David, I'm not on video since it's 2 a.m. in the morning here in India. So yeah, so I'm
Oh
off
my
cam.
God. Thank you for being here.
May I report?
Please do.
Okay, so I changed the setting like David told Erm about, and then I got out of this meeting. I thought maybe that setting wouldn't take hold until I restarted. So I restarted my Zoom account. I came, I said, join a meeting. It gave me the usual window. Do you want your video on or off? Then I put in the numbers. I clicked the join. It gave me the place to put in the passcode. I put in the passcode. And then between the passcode and going directly into the meeting, or the waiting room in this case, there was a window. And it showed me, and it said, and you're using this microphone and this camera, and it was wonderful. And then there was a little join button, and there was also a checkbox that was checked that says, show this every time you come to a meeting. And I know that at some point in the past, I unchecked that box. I know I did because, I'm looking like I'm looking. So anyway, but yes, it is there. Yes, turning that on did do something. And so Rohit, if you turn that on, then you will always have time to primp before you get put into the meeting or the waiting room.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. That was a good reminder that we have that option.
Yeah, Lois, double check. Rohit actually put some screenshots and double check if that's what you saw. I believe that you'll say yes. They're both in chat.
Of course, because I wasn't in the meeting at the time, I can't see a darn thing.
Oh, you don't actually have those. Actually,
Because I wasn't here.
That's true.
Just
You want to
sending it
repost those,
again.
Mike?
Just sending it again, Louis.
Yeah, thank you.
It's on the same page, yeah.
Yeah, I just did a quick copy and paste.
Okay, hold on. That's not right. I clicked on that and it opened Amadeus for me. That's not what I needed. Let me see if I can make that bigger.
David, you're being awful quiet.
Yes.
Is it good or bad? That means you're
Yes,
up to
that is what I saw, though I had my face in there instead of a black screen. Yeah. Hey,
Excellent.
Hi. Okay, so I don't know, yeah, about the like how many coupons. I have 3 curious questions if anybody else is experiencing some things. So is it like door number 1, 2, or 3? Do I just pick one?
You pick all 3, you just do them one at a time.
I don't want to take up too much airtime. I don't want to clip all the coupons, but I'm just curious if anybody else is experiencing what I'm going to call meeting summary mashups with AI, like where it actually spits out a report or a meeting summary that is a combination of 2 meetings you've been in. Is like, no, this is not accurate. Does anybody? Yeah, it was really interesting. Okay.
Were you in
I
the
haven't seen.
All
were you
right.
in the same meetings? I mean, were they sequential meetings or were they going on at the same time with different accounts or how?
No, just one account. Yeah, probably one right after the other if I had to try and remember off the top of my head, but just really strange. So I don't know if that's a bug or if it's like, oh yeah, that happens every once in a while, but okay.
I'm
All right.
wondering if maybe the AI stayed on while you were switching from one meeting to the other meeting. I'm wondering if maybe it was still working when you left this meeting and it was still doing its thing. And then if you got in the other meeting, maybe that confused it.
Oh, if the meetings were like right up against each other,
I don't
possibly.
know if they were or not. That's,
Yeah, yeah.
just, it's a
Yeah,
possibility.
yeah. Okay, thank you. And I've
Another,
also, oh,
another
go ahead.
thought I have for you too is that were you using the same meeting ID?
No, 100% no.
100% no. Okay, so
Yeah.
they're Zoom generated it for each one.
Yep. Yep.
And
That
were
would
they
have been
your
the only thing that
meetings?
would have been, yeah. Go ahead,
Did
Lois.
you the host?
I believe they were both times. Yeah, one was a recurring and one was a one-off, but yeah.
But you were the host.
Yes, in both cases, yeah. Anyway, okay, thank you. I have spatial audio turned on, kind of just for fun, to be honest. And I wonder if that is that any extra drain on my bandwidth to have something like that turned on? Does anybody know? Because I'm not that highly technical, or is it just a preference thing?
Could someone explain what spatial audio is? I don't know that term.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool feature. So it's under your audio settings. And when you click it, it's right under the output volume. When you click that box, the audio will come from wherever I appear, my video is on the screen. But does it suck up more juice? I saw your head nodding, David.
I don't know. I'm not an audio guy. If I had to guess, I would say yes. I would say
Okay.
everything else that you turn on
Yeah.
takes up juice.
Yeah.
But
Here-
that's like more of a guess than anything.
So the infamous answer is from the streaming world is that more channels, more bandwidth, more audio. Less channels. So if you're running stereo at most is what Zoom will send us. They'd love to just send us one, which is mono, of course, it's stereo. But now if you're going spatial, of course, you've got all the different channels that have to be calculated by. Now, again, there could be math going on in the background that we don't know about, the secret sauce of Zoom's spatial audio. But again, in theory, if they are sending each individual channel properly, it is officially an individual stream.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I got a couple of questions on this one. I read the little question mark next to it. Says it only works in gallery or immersive because that's the only place you would be on a different place in the screen. And my questions are then, if it only works for you, you choose it for you.
Right.
You don't choose it for me. So even though you've chosen it, I don't hear any difference in my audio.
Right.
Therefore, it means to me that it's not being sent out to everybody. It's local to you.
Yes.
So the question about the bandwidth is a good question. Then the other one is if we're in gallery view and I have turned, or you have turned off view non-video participants. So you're only seeing the pictures on the screen. Will that change where you hear things from? Is different from It's everybody. So then the next question, you start all these questions there. I can understand how it can move the sound from left to right because it can send us a stereo signal. I don't get how it can move from up and down because it can only send us a stereo signal. So I don't understand how, if you put yourself in the upper left corner, it'll sound one way, and if you put yourself in the lower right corner, well, it'll sound shifted. But if it's up and down, I don't see how that can make a difference. So have you tried
John-
this?
Yeah, I have it on right now. So yeah.
And it only affects what you say. It doesn't affect where
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
am.
Yeah, it's just my audio. Like, yeah, my incoming audio.
John, do you have some insights into this?
Yeah. With all due respect to what you're hearing, it's not really for you. It's for a Zoom rooms type environment. It's for an environment where there might be a load of people across a desk. And the idea is to try and get that spatial awareness of where people are across the desk. That's what it's for. So it does work here to a degree, but that's the environment that it's really aimed at.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah. So if you've got a Zoom Rooms device up at the front, a camera that is showing the entire room, and then doing that magic of sort of it being able to capture individual people and give them the name tags and all that other stuff. And then it can also do the spatial sound. It's almost like you can sit at the table and then, you know, the person over there is talking to you, the person over there is talking to you.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure it makes all that much of a difference. But
Yeah, it's helpful to understand the intention, which the last thing is gallery view. When I sort it A to Z, is there something I'm not understanding about? Like I thought it would sort the gallery. I always choose whatever by default A to Z, but hosts and co-hosts are lumped into that category. And I can't figure out why that makes sense. Like I thought that it would be host, co-hosts, and then everybody else is sorted. Because yeah, it's
So
frustrating.
if you look at the participants list,
Yes.
you will find host, co-host, or I guess yourself, host,
Yes.
co-host, who's speaking, and then everybody whose mic is off, and it changes depending on who's speaking, that sort of thing. If you're looking at gallery view, it is you, and then how people came in to the meeting. All right. So if you haven't moved anything, that's how it is until someone raises their hand, and then they jump to the upper left hand corner and the hand raiser is there, and if a second person raises their hand, then they're the next one over, and that sort of thing. So
Lois, there's a
you
sort
have
gallery view
changed-
now.
once you have changed that and put them a different place, they will never change except for hand raising.
Lois, can you look at your options and see what you got?
Can I look at what?
Yeah.
Can you click on your the view button at the top and show the options you've got? You should have speaker, gallery, multi-speaker, and then below that you should have a new option saying sort gallery by.
Oh, wow. Hey, there's Erm's answer right there. That's new.
But if
How
you
long
don't-
has that been there? I hadn't noticed that before.
A long time, quite a long time, but I just don't understand the reasoning behind, like in the participant list, to put host and co-hosts and then start to sort, because it's weird to have to go and fetch your, yeah, anyway, whatever. When I'm spotlighting, it's like if I spotlight that way with video cameras instead of the participant list, the host is, has moved.
Yeah, on the participant list, it's always the host at the top, the co-host below them,
Yes.
and then anybody who's got their hand up below them, and then anybody who's got their microphone on below them, and anybody who's got the camera on below them, and everybody else at the bottom.
Yes, thank you. I guess it's
Except
just
you are
finds me.
first. You are above the host. You are
And
more
you're
deeper than
always at the
host.
top. If you're showing your video, you're the top of your gallery view, and if
So
you're not,
I'm a little confused then because I am showing my video and I'm not first in gallery view. Tony is first in my gallery view.
Yeah.
what's your view?
You
order?
have moved people around, haven't you, David?
No, I didn't do anything. God, you're like out to get me today. You're
You have
blaming me
never
for every-
moved anyone?
No, I don't
So
move it.
David-
I never move it.
David,
There's a
right now
release.
it's who ended up coming in order right
See
now.
what your sort is, and there's a release video order underneath it as well, so you can reset in case people accusing
I
you of
did.
moving people.
I just reset it.
Okay. Are
And
your
you're
legs
sorting the
crossed?
galaxy by.
Say again.
Are your legs crossed?
My legs are crossed. Is that, should I uncross them?
Yeah, you need to uncross them when you do this.
All right. Now,
So in what way are
Yeah.
you sorting right now after you release video order? Like I said, first name, last name, entry name.
so I just for essing giggles, I set it to first name and it switched, and that put me as the host in that first position. That's where I am now. But now, and in fact, if you're on,
I don't think it's host. You are David with a D, so that's why you're in the first position. I don't think it's because you're the host.
oh, good call. Thank you. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Let me do it by last name. Thank you so much. Nope.
The
That-
person who's looking at it is first.
No. So now I just changed it to last name, sort by last name, and I'm still in the top left. If I change it
Because
to
it's
sort
your
by last-
screen.
reverse, I'm still in the top left.
Because
But
it's
then if
your
I-
screen.
A second, stop talking for a second. But then if I release video order, I'm second in line. Right? So here, let me just so that we can all see this. So here we go.
You're going to force us to follow your video order?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna show you. So, oh, wait a second. Now, hold on. That's weird.
Now,
This
David, your
right.
spotlight now. That puts you up at the top.
Oh, that's why. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay. So before I was spotlit, this one and Tony were reversed. Yeah, so I can't really do this because I'm spotlighting myself. It's a shame. Okay.
Again,
If you
I
said
remember
follow your
correctly-
order, we could see what you're seeing if you're not spotlit.
You could share the screen of your view and then you wouldn't be spotlit.
Try to share screen. So let me do that. Let me unspotlight myself and I will share this screen. Desktop 1, share. All right. So can you now see my order, how I'm second?
Not yet.
Now you can. Okay. So I'm second now, right? And now I'm going to change to sort gallery. That put me first. And that you could say that that's because the D in David, because I did first name A to Z, but then if I do last name A to Z, I stay in that position. If I do anything, I stay in that position.
What about
except-
entry time? Because you can't be the first and the last person.
All right, so let's do entry time, last to first. I'm still in the first position, but now if I go and I release that in plain old vanilla gallery view, I'm in second position.
Okay. So shall I just try to say what I understood? So I just tried researching what release video order is. Release video order means it resets the order of participants, allowing Zoom's default algorithm. So determining the arrangement based on factors like speaker activity or the order in which the participant joins. So we don't have control of that. But in the other ones, like first name, last name, what I understood, the first box on the left is our own box. After that, the alphabetical order starts. So when I did alphabetical order as well, my box was on the top left. After that, I had David and
Gotcha.
other the alphabetical order. So the first box is always a self box. So probably
I
if
guess
you
what
have you, then
that
probably you
makes
can.
sense.
Unless
Yeah,
someone has
the-
their hand up, like Tony has his hand up now. So he's shifted over for all of us.
So so now when I changed now and I changed the view, I said, do it by first name or I'll do this one again. So right, Tony stays now in first position, I stay in second position, and then we go. Again, the piece of this that I don't understand is why I'm in second position when Tony's hand wasn't raised. Why was I in second position? That's the piece that I'm not fully understanding.
I'm wondering if Tony had lowered his hand and somehow Zoom had missed that and thought his hand was still up.
Let's try that. Tony, do me a favor. Can you lower your hand? And I'll tell you all if anything changes on my end.
Yep.
Nope, nothing.
Okay, it changed for us though.
It changed for me. Yeah.
That's really interesting. It's not changing for me. Huh. Tony,
Must
did you
think
want to jump?
he's you. Was Tony the first one in?
No.
That's what I was going to say. I was
you were
the first one in.
Wait, no, I had 4 other clients in before you. Now, none of them have video on right now. No, that's not true, actually.
No one was showing. When I came
Meters
in,
was
no
in
one was showing.
No,
No
meters were on. Ah, wait. You tried to get in before I even started the meeting.
He got
Yes.
in.
Wait, you didn't? You did?
When I came in, it was just me.
No,
Well,
but
we
that's not
solved the
possible.
question. There you go.
No, we didn't. That's
It-
not possible because I don't have this set up. Let anyone join. I started this meeting at 2:00 Eastern time. And I was
Right.
sitting here with all of my clients in the meeting for 40 minutes before anyone else joined.
The other clients weren't showing. I came in, it was just you and me.
It was just what?
It was just you and me.
You had the
No,
non-video participants turned off probably.
No, but 2 of them, my meters were on. There is video coming from the meters,
Okay.
and there's video coming from me. So I was in here first as the host. My meters were in here second. You could argue because of the other clients are video off that Tony was in here third, but he definitely wasn't in here alone without me.
That's interesting. I thought I saw you turn on the meters after I got here. Did anything get taken out and put back?
I took them out and then I brought them back in, but they were in here before. Yeah.
Could it have had anything to do with the stream not starting right away?
Did
I don't
David
see why
have
that
to leave at any point?
No, I didn't drop out.
Okay.
Rohit, what do you think?
No, I'm just trying to see if I lower hand, does it change for you or is it just like right now, can you see me in the top left since I raised hand?
We got you up there. No, actually, for me, you're in the top right.
Even after I raised hands, okay.
Now you're in gallery view, you're in the top left. Yes.
And I've lowered my hand. Am I still
Yep.
in the top for you?
Nope.
Okay,
You
so
just-
okay. So I just think it's a Tony one. Yeah.
Hasmik, go ahead.
Only if I can change the subject.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
So I have a question. I started a new video podcast, and so we're recording the podcast in our studio. But we have folks who are watching the podcast in a Zoom meeting so that they can ask questions. So so one of the things, a question I have is I'm trying to use meetings like a webinar, and somebody told me that you can ensure that participants remain unmuted. Is that correct? Is there an option to ensure that participants don't unmute themselves? They remain muted. I'm sorry, they remain muted.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You can
So
definitely do that. There are
Is that a
There are a
setting in
couple
the portal or in the app itself?
The host
So
and
when you-
co-host can go to the shield at the bottom and change that at any time.
Both.
Sorry,
when,
is it?
right, when
Can
you're
you?
scheduling the meeting.
Mhm.
So let me.
Yeah, that was gonna that was gonna be my question. Can you do that when you schedule the meeting, or only after you have started the meeting?
When you schedule the meeting, you can say whether they're allowed to have their camera on and their audio on when they join the meeting.
And
then
then
you
you
can
can,
stop them from turning their audio on in the host settings.
So
and then you
here's,
can change that momentarily.
hold on a second. So here's a meeting that I'm starting. And
Mhm.
down here, I can say video. Do I want the participants to have it on or off? And audio, how do I want them to be able to connect? And then when I click on show, I can mute participants upon entry. I can request permission to unmute. I cannot from here, it looks like, force them to stay muted.
That's
But what-
correct. That's what I thought. In a portal, you don't have an option to keep them muted.
Right. Once you start the meeting, you can go and mute everyone.
So
fact,
that's only that's only happens once you start a meeting. Only start a meeting, then you can force everybody to remain muted. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So in your participants list,
Mhm.
here, let me come over here. In the participants list, underneath, at the very bottom, you've got invite, mute all, and more. Under the more, down at the bottom this is one of two places where you can access this. Allow participants to unmute themselves. You can also access it from the shield, the
Got you.
host,
Got you.
right?
Okay,
But
so
actually a
go
great
ahead. So
that's actually a great little find, Hasmuk, that you can
Yeah.
force people to come in muted
Mhm.
when you schedule a meeting, but you cannot force them to stay muted when you schedule a meeting.
correct. So okay, that's
Yeah.
what I.
It's a great find, actually.
So in this setup, I was recording them on local cameras and on the ATEM, but both the video and audio was in the Zoom meeting. So folks were watching this podcast recording in Zoom.
Mhm.
But because we forced them to remain muted, they couldn't unmute. And they had to ask their questions through a QR code or whatever we were using. And this is with the host and guest in the studio. Next week, I have a guest that's in Switzerland, so they'll be coming into Zoom.
Mhm.
So now I'm trying to figure out that I'll be recording host and guest in that Zoom. I'll be recording the host, let's say, with the camera and record the guest through Zoom. How do I get others to watch this meeting without being in the meeting?
Hasmukh, can I back up before we answer this second question? When
Uh-huh.
you're talking about muting and unmuting, if you set your meeting so that no one can join before the host, or you set a waiting room, then you can get in there and you can make all these changes and get everything permanently muted and all that stuff before anybody arrives. And that's a good thing. And then you can set it so that you have the question posed to them, allow the host to unmute you. And if they say yes, which
Sure.
is great,
Yeah.
then
Gotcha.
you can simply go and unmute your guest when you want them to talk and mute them when you don't want them to talk. And you can do that with anybody.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Sure.
back to your last question, which I don't know the answer to.
Yeah. So, I mean, the one where we had the host and guest in studio and we were recording the podcast, it was easy. So, let's say the public was actually watching the recording of the show and could interrupt and ask questions through a QR code. But now the guest will be online in Zoom. So in Zoom, I only want the host and the guest. I don't want anybody else in that Zoom meeting. I'm recording that for my podcast. How do I get folks in another Zoom meeting to watch what's happening in the first Zoom meeting? I'm not sure if you're getting my drift.
There are a
Have you
few.
considered double spotlighting and then allowing people to be in the meeting? It just won't get recorded. They won't see each other. Have you considered that as a possibility?
So spotlight the guest and the host.
Double spotlight. And then that's all that will record if you have it set up properly.
Oh, okay.
Well, you
All
won't
right.
get a you won't get a side by side recording, but let's make some rounds because
Yes, you will. Why won't you get a side-by-side recording? That's what I got. 2 people.
I didn't think you did, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but let's go make the rounds. John and Mike wanted to jump in. Go ahead.
Go ahead, John. I'll let you do it first, and then I'll come back with a few things.
Well, I was going to say, if you have the RTMP, you can feed that into another Zoom meeting as a Zoom guest. But I think you'll need an events type license to get that feature. I don't think you can do it in a standard meeting, but we can check.
Yeah, I don't think you can bring RTMP in, but you could absolutely use another tool like Mimo or Ecamm or any of those others to capture that and then feed it in using a virtual camera.
So capture the host guest Zoom meeting and bring that into Mimo. Is that what you're saying, David?
Here's how I would do that, and I'll speak Ecamm language because that's my language.
Sure. I can relate to that. Yeah.
I would start a meeting from Ecamm for Zoom. My panelists join that meeting. Then in vanilla Zoom, I start another meeting, and that's where my audience lives. I feed the audio and video from my speaker meeting into that audience meeting, just using Ecamm's virtual camera and virtual.
Gotcha.
And so that way, so the two, they can see and hear what the speakers are doing.
The Chinese wall. Yeah.
That's probably how I. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah. So Hasmuk, now if you take it to the ATEM world.
Yes, exactly.
Now what you would want to do is you'd want to zoom ISO each individual camera as if each individual feed coming into that meeting one.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom ISO out into your ATEM as if they were their own individual cameras physically at the physical location, right? So you know how you had your studio currently set up where you probably had 3 camera going into the ATEM?
3 cameras,
right.
Yeah.
Right. So basically now every tight camera that you had from the ATEM would be equivalent to Zoom ISO.
Yeah. So I use Zoom ISO in my medical event. So when I launch the Zoom ISO, when I launch that, am I launching it for my guest and my host?
Correct. So you're bringing both of them in via Zoom ISO as individual channels, and you're bringing the audio in to the ATEM. And then out of the ATEM, should it be like an ATEM Mini Pro as an example, USB out now goes into another computer.
Meeting.
And that's
as a camera and audio.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that meeting itself is now, and it's equivalent to what David is doing in Ecamm, but he's doing it in software. Just bringing it out to hardware. That's where the Zoom ISO comes into play.
Yeah.
For each camera feed. Now, should you have a third camera or a third person that joins, it's the same thing, right?
That's a different, Yeah, my only challenge is I don't use audio through the ATEM. I just use the audio through MixPre. So
yeah,
that.
Yeah, and again, what you'd probably want to do there, just to alleviate yourself, is bring the MixPre audio into the
ATEM. Yeah.
In the mic input, by changing the line.
Lois
You would have to have a second account, right?
Yeah. It's a different account altogether.
Lois is correct that you can get multi-spotlight in cloud recordings. Apologies, Lois. So if recording is what you want to do, then you could do that. You know, if you want to keep this really simple, you throw your meeting into focus mode. So everyone's cameras are off except the 2 people that you spotlight, and you just don't let anyone unmute themselves. You could turn off chat. I mean, you can turn a regular meeting into a no contact support of webinar. Certainly do that. Rohit, I know, wanted to jump in, and John.
Yeah. So Hasmukh, while the podcast is happening, are you intending of having interaction between the audience and your speakers? Then and focus mode is one option, or then the easiest would be a Zoom webinar. Just have your panelists in the panelist side and all the others in the in the attendee side. So that's another option you can go with.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid having another account like a webinar, but yes, I was looking for a workaround without using a webinar, but I realized a webinar it would be the easiest solution.
Well, you can fake a webinar, because what you could do is the two of you could go in a breakout room and leave everybody else in the main room. Then all you need to do is feed the video feed from the breakout room into the main room. So instead of having two Zoom accounts, you can run it in one.
It's the same.
So
And then you can bring everybody together at the end after the interview's finished, so you don't have to fiddle around with where they are.
So are the audience in the main room
Yeah.
and the guest and host are in a breakout room?
Yeah, and if you set the breakout room settings correctly, nobody will be able to move anywhere without you moving them, so they won't get in
Right.
there.
And then feed the breakout room into the main room,
just like you would go between two other meetings.
Right. So again, with eCam or Mimo Live, you'd have your eCam instance or your Mimo Live instance in the breakout room producing whatever. And then you'd have your native client not in the breakout, same meeting, but not in the breakout room. And you're feeding in the virtual camera. You're right. That's actually a really elegant idea, because it allows you, if you want, at the end,
get them to all come together. Yeah. But now I can feed the video, but can I feed the video and audio into the main stage in the meeting for all the audience?
Sure. Yeah. You just have to route it correctly.
Don't you still need two accounts?
Setup is the same, like using two separate Zoom accounts. It's just that instead of the second account, you're going to use the same technical aspects like a ATEM or a Zoom ISO. You're going to use the same stuff. It's just that instead of using two Zoom accounts, you're using Zoom one account where you have one breakout. Having said that, your audience will always get one small notification saying that there is one breakout room open, which they can't join anyways, but they'll have a notification that there is a breakout room.
Okay, I'll play with this. Thankfully, it's a long weekend.
But then get some sleep as well. Happy Easter all.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So, okay. All right. So it looks like we're still going here. Yeah. As everybody disappears, that was a bit of a weird transition, but hello, everybody. I'm on YouTube. Welcome. All right. So definitely, if you have any other questions that we haven't gotten to, or if you have any questions about the latest update, please let us know in YouTube chat. And I know that there are still people watching us on YouTube. So hello, everybody on YouTube. We haven't said too much. We haven't said hi too much to you this week. But if you have any questions, definitely let us know. But it was definitely interesting. I know when John and I ran into that problem this week, we were live in a meeting together, as a matter of fact. And all of a sudden it broke right in front of us where the domain name disappeared. It was like, way cool. All right, take care. Yeah, Rohit. So tell us a little more about yourself. I don't know if the community knows much about you. Are you on our Discord? Do you join us on Discord?
So I'm not on Discord, so I would like to join that. So I joined Zoom Test Kitchen like 3.5 years back, and I was one of the initial members who bought Zoom ISO when it was liminal from India.
Right.
Yeah. So that's when I wanted to experience or had some doubts and queries. So that's when Andy used to join Zoom Test Kitchen. So while he was with liminal and not Zoom. So I'm saying way before.
Right.
while he was,
Way back in the original days.
yeah, around 21, I guess. Yeah, 2021. So that's when I used to sit late nights and join Zoom Test Kitchen to understand some stuff. After that, yeah. So I've been using ISO a lot. I don't use OS. I use ISO a lot.
Yeah. So
Or
you're using the ISO, not the OSC.
no, I don't use the OSC. Yeah. So I used to use a lot of ISO and run my webinars and virtual events to that. Then again, lockdown opened up, so I moved into a lot more physical events kind of stuff where I handle the video engineering part. But I still try to join these kind of Zoom test kitchens to understand more into virtual. And yeah, I've started doing a bit of Zoom events myself. I work with different platforms like Feedloop or Zoom events. But still, I try joining this community whenever I can, because every time this meeting happens, it's actually 2 a.m. for me, a Saturday morning, 2 a.m. So sometimes it's just tough to join. So
Yeah.
I try.
Hasbuck knows, right? Hasbuck?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Coming
I've seen Facebook from before. I've seen you, Mike. I've seen David as well. And then, yeah. So I try joining in whenever I can. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. And of course, if you go to zoomtestkitchen.com, and this is for everybody on YouTube as well, you'll see the links to all the different, to all of our, to YouTube, to Discord, and to Facebook, I believe is all on there. So that'll get you. And of course, if you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get information from David every week on as a reminder to come to the next Zoom Test Kitchen as well. And you can sign up on the actual zoomtestkitchen.com website. All right. So as I said before, we're taking questions and answers. Hasmuth, good to see you. See you next week if you're able. And everybody on YouTube, if you have any questions for us, John and I are still here. Actually, John and I are still here, and Rohit is still sticking with us. I don't know for how much longer, but maybe soon. I know it is Good Friday, so if anybody does want to stick around with us, we do still can answer some questions for you. I know it was really interesting this week when that did happen to John and I live. So we didn't. So just to let everybody know, when it did happen live, when the DNS disappeared, because John and I were already in a meeting, we did not get kicked out of the meeting. That was a bit of a rumor that was spreading around that automatically when this happened, that things died at that specific moment. It did not die. All ended up happening was that if you already were in a meeting, you were okay. But if you tried to get back into a brand new meeting after that meeting, between the time frame that Zoom mentioned, which was 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. ish, I believe, remembering off the top of my head, during that time frame, if you had a meeting then, chances are you could not have got back in unless your DNS server that you were using from your internet service provider at that particular point had gotten the update of where zoom.us domain name now lives on the internet. Okay. Well, everybody's being awful quiet, so I don't know. John, do you want to say anything new and exciting?
Clips. Zoom clips.
Zoom clips. What have you been playing with Zoom clips this week?
Well, I haven't, but if I put my hand in my pocket and
Uh-oh.
get my card out and spend a little bit of money, you can now upgrade your Zoom clips, which means you can record a short video of yourself, and then Zoom clips will create clips with you as the avatar, not the built-in ones.
Okay. All right. So this is
So it's a bit tricky for us to do because it's part of Zoom, but you can't do it in a Zoom meeting because Zoom Clips is using the same equipment, shall we say, but in a different context.
Right.
But if you click on your Clips tag, actually, I can probably do it, can't I?
Sure.
So if I get to think about how I'm going to do this, I'll do what I always do. Go and share the second screen. Then we can make as big a mess we like without worrying about it. So there's screen 2. Let's get everything else out of the way.
And John's going to do it old school. We're going to do sharing. There he goes.
So here's, hold on. I better just check because I did it so quickly. Did I hit the shared? No, I didn't hit the shared to say share the windows of Zoom.
Right. Very important. That is the new functionality.
Yeah. So if you want to share the windows of Zoom, you get to click the button rather than finding it in your options, which used to be the old way. So here's your Zoom clips. So I can go to my clips. I haven't really got any. And you've got record a clip, which is the old way, which it won't be able to because, of course, we're in a Zoom meeting, as I said. So that's the old way where you can record a clip as if you're in a Zoom meeting, but it's recording a clip. But there's also the create with avatars. So you can choose an avatar and then give it a script. I wonder if you say live or live. And you can create a clip. And I'm afraid you only have 1 minute of clips that you can create each month in the free version, which is why you obviously want to upgrade. Of course you do.
Of course
But
you do.
if you upgrade, you can also create with avatars. And if you upgrade your plan over here, you can actually create your own avatar then. So you can put your own face on the screen. You talk for, I haven't done it yet because I haven't done my upgrade yet, but I'll probably do it for the next meeting. You can record your own version of your avatar and then you'll be on this list somewhere, I expect at the top. And then you can record conversations with you as the avatar, not the preset ones. So for those corporate people who haven't got the courage to keep recording those things or don't feel they'll dress well for the occasion at a particular time, I think it's going to be quite a neat tool, that.
Yeah, especially since you can actually replace yourself now instead of using a stock person that obviously doesn't look like you.
Yep. And for those people that wanted to know, the next thing they want to know is how much it costs, don't they?
Yes, and for our majority of our audience that are based in the US, might as well give it in US dollars, Johnny, if possible.
I think it was around the 10 mark, but hold on, I'm going to have to go through the pretense I'm just about to upgrade my plan to send me to the right screen. And I can't see it now. I can't give you a straight answer at this second in time. How much it costs?
All right.
So I will let you know when I find the answer.
Very, very cool. Um,
And then there's your favorite, isn't there?
my favorite, which one? Tell me, tell me.
Well, you got a Zoom task, didn't you? Created by AI Companion.
Oh, yes, I did have that this week. I don't know if anybody's noticed that or not, but I was a lucky soul, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. Luck, highly, up to you how you feel about the word luck. But I noticed out of my meeting that I actually had with John that I had to actually send him a URL that I had promised him in the meeting. And I ended up manually or automatically, a Zoom task, which is officially beta, was set up for me to remind me that I officially had to send John a task of sending that URL to him, which I had already done previously, but it was new for me to actually see that Zoom out of the Zoom AI companion summary, dug that information out, and did the Zoom task for me and inserted it into my Zoom tasks. And Lois is actually saying a comment on YouTube, which I'll relay here. On Lord Zoom's window, the overlay is showing checkerboard instead of stuff behind him. Why is that? Lois is asking. Checkerboard? Oh, right.
That's
Transparent.
because my transparent background is not transparent. So it's the
Right.
transparent checkerboard image instead of the transparency.
Right. And that was an oopsie on John's situation, or was that Zoom?
That was an oopsie on mine. I was just grabbing a whole load because I was limited to 2 and everybody had more. So I managed to create 4 of them. So I just threw it up to create more.
Okay.
So
But-
I have the ability to purchase Zoom Clips Plus. Which says create unlimited videos with no time limits, capture your screen and video together, trim your videos, access advanced features like audio transcripts and statistics. This is included in all paid workplace plans. Which is interesting. That's Zoom Clips Plus.
And that is included in which plans again?
It says included in all paid Zoom workplace plans. Doesn't make any sense to me because
that doesn't
doesn't
sound
that
right.
mean all the plans? In which case, this is irrelevant because it's already there.
Yeah.
I've got it. I've got it
maybe
around
enterprise or
£6.
business, but I don't know if that'd be in pro.
No,
Right.
but if you go down the enhance your experience price list, it's as one of the extras, Zoom Clips Plus, and it's just under £6, so under $10 certainly. And if it really can create unlimited videos with no time limits,
Oh, now we're getting back to storage.
one would say that that is very cheap compared to other AI products you may use, and it's just going to be down to deleting them and making use of them elsewhere, because if you don't have an enterprise license, then you've got to worry about that storage limit.
Right. Because again, they're not the unlimited. So what was the unlimited word? And which I hate that word, by the way.
Yeah, there's no such thing as unlimited, by the way.
Yeah.
Create unlimited videos with no time limits.
Sure. And in an asterisk somewhere, it says, depending on how much money you're paying Master Storage, should be the official disclaimer.
Well, it's correct. You can create them. What it's not mentioning, of course, is if you actually keep them more than 5 minutes, you've got to pay for the storage.
Right. That's another asterisk. Very, very
But when I
interesting.
investigated this earlier, I got a different answer, and it cost me $10.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Why, John? Why?
If I look
Tell
at
us.
the so if I look at the price list, and maybe I should log out so it doesn't know who I am. There we are, because then it won't make any assumptions for me, will it? It does say down the list of options, Clips Plus unlimited videos in a pro license.
It's included in a pro license.
It's included on the price list for the pro license for .uk. Yeah.
Oh, well, don't you have me intrigued about Canada now? All right. As you
So
speak there,
does this mean that now Zoom has evaluated, it's decided that it will allow us to do lots of them? Because these are the sort of decisions that aren't in the release notes.
Yes, that would be correct. All right. So let me see what we got here. All right. Going down the all feature lists.
Just the summary at the top.
Oh, summary. It's up there in the summary in the top. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Or pro. Or is it its own? Okay. No.
Pro. Pros, meetings 30 hours, 100 participants, AI companion, cloud storage
it is.
5 gig,
Yeah.
docs unlimited. The information bar doesn't say anything about the fact it's going to be added to your storage, but we're pretty sure it does. And tasks is all new. Doesn't say what the limitations of that. Doesn't say it's a demo of it. Just says tasks. And it says clip plus unlimited videos. And then custom avatar 3 minutes per month. So on a pro license, you can only get 3 minutes of your custom avatar.
Okay. So I can confirm for Canada, I see Clips Plus unlimited videos as an option. And for free, on the free basic, Clips Basic, 5 2-minute videos.
Which of course then you can buy Clips Plus for under $10 if you wanted it just as a separate thing, if you didn't have a pro license to use through, or if you had somebody who wanted to use it who was on a free license in your domain.
Yeah. And currently, Pro is going for $17.91. So let's be nice and just say that's $18 Canadian per month, and that's billed annually. So that is a yearly, on a yearly plan. They want $18 for a Pro account. And what John is talking about, Clips Plus, unlimited videos would be there. But again, your cloud storage with them is only 5 gig on a Pro currently. I purposely did not log into this browser so that it knows that
Yeah.
I'm logged in.
Yeah, I did the same thing because I didn't want to assume that I've got things already, because this is I was signed in on a Business Plus license. So
Yeah. And the Zoom Clips Plus for Canada is $9.30 Canadian a month.
okay, but you
Brand
shouldn't
new.
need it. You shouldn't need it if you've got a pro or a business or an enterprise license.
Right. Yeah. So, or nine, they're saying basically $9.30 a month or $93 a year for Zoom Clips Plus.
Certainly, I'll make use of that now and again. If I don't have to go and find another app and it's all within the Zoom banner and the Zoom price.
Yeah. And again, just for everybody that might not be familiar with Clips, John, the limitation of Zoom Clips is, if any.
Well, yes, but is there? Because now they're saying it's unlimited. It used to be limited in length, and you only had a minute anyhow on the when it first came out. You only were given a minute. So even if you did wanted to do a long one, all you could do is a minute in a month. So you only had the ability to do a minute. But now they're saying it's unlimited clips, unlimited length, except for your custom avatar. Your custom avatar is limited to 3 minutes per month. So there must be hidden somewhere a further upgrade so you can use the custom avatar for longer. But I haven't found it yet.
All right. You got me looking. I'm going into the individual ones here. Yeah, so Tasks is actually saying that it's limited features, but it's available in free. But Pro and Business definitely have tests included now. Okay, what else do I see here? Team chat, integrations, engagement. Oh, video filters. Inject some fun into your meetings with video filters. That's what we were showing earlier. If you weren't with us earlier, we were playing around a lot with video filters, and many of us were making them in Canva, or John has made them in Canva, and is that the one, John? That one that you currently got on your screen, that is a Canva?
Yeah, that's a Canva. Actually, it was created by AI, that one. And then I pulled it into Canva.
Oh, again, Lois is asking us a question on YouTube, John. Ready for this?
Oh, all right. Okay.
This one's important, and it's very, very smart question. Are clips exportable so we can edit several together?
Several together. Yes.
Would be a thought that I think Lois is basically thinking is, you could actually make a storyboard, basically scenario where you have it clip this, make it, and then put them all together. That's my thinking, Lois, without you being here. I know you're on YouTube, but that's, I think, where you're thinking about that. John, your thought?
I believe they're downloadable. You can also send a link to people. So if you do leave it where it is,
Yeah.
they are linkable. And if you go and look at one that's linkable, which I've got one here because one of the Zoomies sent me one. He did a clip and he sent me one. So let me, again, I'll just take that down there. And I'll show you. And you'll probably recognize this if you've ever looked at recordings. It looks pretty much the same as other recordings do. So if I do that and I just share my windows just in case I need them.
Yeah.
As you can see, this is the web page I go to. So this allows me to play it. There's a copy link item there, and there's also the ability to download the clip. So I can download it, and it's going to come down as an MP4. So yeah, the answer is, Lois, yes, you can. So you can create a clip, download it, then of course you can delete it and release your space to make your next one. So
yes, so in theory you could cheat the system per se.
Yeah, if you don't have a big storage and you're not going to leave them up there forever, then you can download them. And if you have got a lot of storage and you're a corporate, then you've got this lovely window here where you can put comments and marks and things, and you can even get the transcript of the content. So effectively, it's in the same store as all the other videos and content that's going to be created is all going to end up in the same place.
Yeah, and just to let Lois know, I did put in chat, the format is MP4, like John had mentioned. So that should be easily editable by any kind of basic video editing software, even to the DaVinci results, all the way up the chain. And again, of course, you always will be limited to what account you've got. John, it will record in basically 720 by default, 1080p, depending on your account. Is it matching that stuff in clips? Or does it actually go to 1080p?
That's a good question.
All right. Lois, a follow-up question from me. There you go. Can it do 1080p is the question.
Well, let's download this one and see what it is. Now, somebody told me you can have a tool that does this. It tells you all about the video formats.
Yes, that might have been me. And the tool that I had told you, John, in the past, that I've told the Zoom Test Kitchen community about quite a bit, is called Media Info.
Media Info reports it's a 1920 by 1080 at 29.835 frames per second.
Sure. Close enough to 29.97, aka 30 frames a second.
So that one was recorded at HD quality.
Okay.
So that's as good an answer as I can give you for now.
Best answer for me.
Of course, there's also a button there to encourage me to upload a video, because Zoom does want you to put all your videos on their system. However,
do we want to talk about
there may be another reason for you to want to upload data, because if you are a corporate, and even if you're not, Zoom AI Companion is now open arms waiting to have your PDFs and all your other documents, so it can then make artificially intelligent answers based on your data and not what's on the general internet. That's also available now.
So basically it would be, John, correct me if I'm wrong, it'd be equivalent to how ChatGPT is basically allowing you to make your own GPT.
Yeah, but what do you want all these other third-party tools for when Zoom's adding it themselves.
Right.
And I was
especially-
hoping to announce a fantastic app, but unfortunately, I'm one command short of an answer. So if anyone in Zoom is listening, can you please tell me exactly the format for the command assign participants to breakout rooms? Because I've tried about 5 or 6 different formats of where I put the brackets and the commas and where I put the IDs, and I can't get the damn thing to work. And the documentation is lacking.
Lacking. Yes.
Very lacking.
Yes.
So
Again,
I
that
may
was,
be
that was
sending
for our
a
friends in
message
the
to.
Zoom Test Kitchen. Yeah, that's for our friends in the Zoom Test Kitchen community that are also Zoom developers. That was
Yeah.
a call out
Yeah.
for John.
Yeah, so I will. Well, I'm fed up doing searches and asking AIs and Google and everybody to give me an example because they all come up with completely different data. So there's no answer, and the official
Data
document
and
doesn't
potentially
tell you
old data
either.
too.
Very much most of it is old data. In fact, I even found a bit of old data that's told me that option wasn't available, which is a shame because I have. Once that command works, I have a little utility which takes a list of all the people in the meeting, and then you tell it how many breakout rooms you want, and it sends you all into breakout rooms. Okay, you're not impressed yet, but a lot of the networking groups that I belong to like to shuffle people and do this 2 or 3 times during a whole meeting. And of course, in the standard Zoom system, there's no ability to do anything but potluck with Zoom. So I have taken a very probably standard algorithm of sorting and shoveling around, and I've got a lap now. So it takes a list of people, and you ask it for your first shuffle, and then you can send people off into the breakout rooms. And then later on in the meeting, you can shuffle it again, and it sends them back out to the breakout rooms, and you can do it as many times as you like. But when it notices that 2 people are in the same room together for a second time, they get highlighted in red, so you know how many people are going to be duplicated. I thought the highlighting in red was a really cool extra feature, But
Right.
so if
Now-
it shuffles
now,
people
John,
and it can't find them, yeah.
This feels like a way of doing speed dating in Zoom. Am I
Well,
wrong?
we do a lot of business speed dating in some of the business groups I'm part of, and it's a big frustration when you've already spoken to certain people and then you end up with the same people again, because obviously you just want to keep meeting lots of new people to have your speed networking with, and it's a bit frustrating. You keep meeting the same people over and over again. So I have created an app, which is good because I promised somebody on Thursday I'd do it. So I just need to sort out one more Zoom app command, and
So how close are we, John, to actually keeping a host in the same breakout room and everybody else shovels?
well, that's the update that I'll put in next. The ability to deselect people like hosts and co-hosts, organizers who may not want to join in, but at the moment it just throws everybody in.
Right. But what I was thinking was that you've already assigned X person to be in that break room as a break room organizer, but
No.
everybody else shuffles.
No, at the moment I have everybody shuffles,
Right.
but I can be selective, so I can tell if somebody's a host or a co-host, and I can exclude them if I wanted to, but I haven't done that yet. Frankly, because there's only 3 of me in the meetings, because I'm only using 3 computers.
Right. But does it make sense what I'm asking though, right?
Oh yeah,
Where
yeah,
keep like a break room host?
yeah. So if you're the organizer of the whole event, you might not want to go into the breakout rooms. Everybody else, you might want to stay behind. So yeah, I'm going to have
Right.
an option.
Right. But again, I'm also thinking too that you have like a maybe not the host and co-host is maybe the bad words, because again, I'm using event terminology here. So if you would break out locally in a hybrid scenario, if you're actually at a physical location, you might have a chief of that new room, and that chief will stay in that room, but everybody else will then leave that room and go into other rooms.
Yeah, that
But
could be
That
possible.
one main person will stay in that room all the time. And
Yeah,
I'm not
that could
talking
be-
about host or co-host at that point. I mean, somebody that's maybe been designated by the host or
Definitely.
co-host in each break room.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to add those features, but until I can get it to work at the simple level, and then once I get it to the simple level, I can go into my account, which has got bots, and I can then get all the bots to add to the meeting, because obviously I need people in the meeting to shuffle in the meeting.
Absolutely.
But
All right, I'll do my stinger again to let everybody know that it's getting to that time where we're almost going to wrap up. So if there's any other questions that you might have for John and I, and Mr. Idelson is still here with us too, but he's being very quiet. So I don't know if he's ready to answer anything, but let us know in YouTube chat.
Very unusual for me to be very quiet, but it's always good to hear John and you speak about the fun things in the Zoom kitchen. And
Yeah,
John, I particularly like your lights. I don't know what brand of you're using for your
the soft boxes, I think,
soft.
John.
Thank you. I needed the term softbox.
they are Godox.
Always fun to see everyone's site setups.
John, you look like you've changed your setup a little bit since I've seen you last too.
No, I'm still redoing the studio. This is, you know how a frog, when he jumps halfway to the edge of a table, will never get to the end because and I've been redoing my studio for 2 years and maybe years. So you're seeing my messy office rather than my beautiful studio.
All right.
So John, what are you near London?
Yeah, your place or mine. Yeah.
I'll are you on Discord? Is that the easiest way to get you?
The easiest way to get me is LinkedIn, John Drinkwater, Lord Zoom.
Okay.
That's my link.
I
No, I'm not. I'm about 2 hours away, but it is very easy to get to London from where I am because we have a
okay.
good
Well, I will
motorway
be
and a good train.
passing
And
through, going there and coming back from an activity I'm doing in Europe. So maybe we'll be able to do a face-to-face.
wow, I'll have to screw my legs on, wouldn't I?
Man, as always, we're thankful for our good neighbor in Canada. I'll just leave it at that. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, John. Good to see you. See you next week, John. Idelson. All right. On that note, YouTube, last call for any other questions that you have for
come on,
John and I.
Lois. Come on, Lois. You can think of one more.
Oh, Lois actually did say bye all, so she might not be
Ah,
watching us on YouTube anymore.
she's
But
not catching us out anymore, then.
yeah, that might be true. But before we wrap this up and I play that final tune for the end of the show, get your question in as you can for John and I. And I guess there was nothing. Well, there was a couple of things from the sessions and events world. Do we want to mention anything, John, before we disappear?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. We talked about the Elgato and we talked about the new production tool last week, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah. If you're talking about the liminal apps, yeah. Again, Andy ended up, and Andy, of course, was with us here last week. Rohit, if you missed that, showing off the new liminal app. And of course, Andy actually visited Office Zoom office hours, not to be confused with office hours on YouTube, but Zoom office hours to talk about the new liminal apps as well, what the Zoom events and Zoom sessions people that join us every Wednesday. And who was there? You were there. I was there. Ray Harwood was there. Denise was there. Trying to think who else of our Zoom test kitchen community. I remember those. Oh, Robert was there. Of course, Robert. Sorry. Yeah, Robert was there asking questions. Trying to remember who else. All right. Well, all is quiet and it is Good Friday. So on that note, I will prepare us for the last clip and song to send us out on this Good Friday.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks, we'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with these. So if your meetings lag or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No rest.
All right. I actually cut that a little early, but that's all right. I want to thank everyone for joining us this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to let YouTube know how much you like our content. And of course, we'll see everyone next week on the Zoom Test Kitchen. Every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific.